If you're a founder trying to scale your startup, you're going to face one of the biggest decisions there is. How do you actually build your team? Are you hiring W-2 employees, or are you bringing on 1099 contractors? With something like 64 million Americans freelancing now, this is not just some academic question. It's a huge decision that's going to impact your budget, your legal risk, and really the entire future of your company.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to get super clear on the two types of workers. Then, and this is important, we'll dive into the urgent 2026 rule changes that you need to know about like yesterday. After that, we'll break down exactly when to hire a contractor versus when it's time to bring on a full-time employee. We'll also cover the very high cost of getting this wrong, and I'll leave you with a simple framework so you can make the right call every single time.
So let's start with the absolute fundamentals. This isn't just about filling out a different form. The IRS has two and only two classifications for workers. And the way you classify someone, well, it affects everything: your taxes, your legal exposure, and what it truly costs to build your team. Look, it really all boils down to one simple word: control. With a W-2 employee, you're in the driver's seat. You get to direct the what, the how, and the when of their work. But with a 1099 contractor, you're not buying their time, you're buying a result. They're running their own ship, their own business, so they control their process. This single distinction is the foundation for everything else, so it is absolutely critical you get this right from day one. Okay, let's shift gears to something that makes this whole topic incredibly timely. There's a new law that was signed in 2025, and it means the rules of the game for how you report contractor payments are about to change in a big way, starting with the 2026 tax year. So this new legislation, and yeah, the acronym OBBBA is a bit of a mouthful, is really going to change how you handle your year-end paperwork. And you got to understand, this is more than just a minor update. It's a huge signal that the IRS is paying way closer attention to how companies like yours classify their teams. And here's what those changes actually look like on paper. The reporting threshold for the most common contractor form, the 1099 NEC, it's jumping from just $600 all the way to $2,000. So yes, that does mean less paperwork for some of your smaller projects, but, and this is a big but, let me be crystal clear, this does not change the rules of classification one bit. You still have to get that part right. Okay, so with those new rules in mind, when is it actually a smart, strategic move to bring on a 1099 contractor? Let's walk through the top 3 scenarios, especially for early-stage companies. These are the classic startup situations, right? You're trying to make every dollar last, you need some specialized skill like right now, or your workload goes up and down like a roller coaster. In all these cases, contractors are basically a superpower. They give you that critical flexibility and expertise without the long-term cost and commitment. And let's just talk about the bottom line here: your cash flow. We are talking about a 20 to 30% savings on your labor costs. For a startup, that's not just some number on a spreadsheet, that is extra months of runway. That's more time to find product market fit, more time to go out and close your next round of funding. It's huge. And this number right here is why that saving is so massive. See, when you hire a W-2 employee, their salary is really just the starting point. You've got to tack on payroll taxes, insurance, benefits, equipment, all of it. That $100,000 salary is really a $130,000 total cost, and that's being conservative. This quote from a fellow founder just says it all, doesn't it? You're buying expertise and results right out of the box, not spending months training someone from scratch. You get immediate value for a very specific need, whether that's building your first website or running a critical marketing campaign. But look, contractors are not the answer for everything. As your company grows, you are going to hit a point where you need the stability and that deep, deep commitment that, frankly, only comes from a full-time employee. So let's look at when you need to make that leap. These 4 signs are your guideposts. If a role is totally core to your business, if you need someone who is all in on your mission, if you need to direct their day-to-day work, and if you're trying to build a real shared culture, you're not looking for a contractor anymore. You're looking for an employee. I mean, just think about what this number really means. Are you buying a few months of output? Or are you investing in almost 4 years of someone's growth, their institutional knowledge, and their dedication to what you're building? For your core team, that's an investment you just can't get from a contractor. And this gets right to the heart of what it means to build a company. Culture isn't built by a revolving door of freelancers. It's built brick by a core team that's in it for the long haul.
Your first few employees, they don't just write code or make sales calls. They are setting the DNA of your company for years and years to come. Okay, now for the part that every single founder needs to hear. Getting this decision wrong, it's not just a simple paperwork mistake. Worker misclassification is a serious financial and legal risk, and trust me, the government is actively looking for it. Let's be really, really clear about this. This is not some gray area that you can kind of exploit. Both the IRS and the Department of Labor have these multi-factor tests to figure out a worker's status. And oops, we didn't know is not a defense. The penalties are designed to be painful. Even if you make an honest mistake, just look at how fast these penalties pile up. You're suddenly on the hook for back taxes for both the employee and the employer's share, plus fines, plus interest. A single misclassified worker can easily turn into a 5-figure liability, fast.
And if an audit decides you intentionally misclassified someone just to avoid paying taxes, well, the consequences become existential. We're talking about criminal penalties that could threaten not just your company's bank account, but your personal freedom as a founder.
And don't think for a second this is some rare thing that never happens. Up to a third of companies might be getting this wrong, and that is exactly why government agencies are so focused on cracking down on it. It's a huge, widespread compliance risk.
So you really have to ask yourself, are you absolutely certain that every single person working for you is classified correctly? Because the odds suggest that a lot of startups, especially the ones that are moving really fast, might have some serious exposure they don't even know about.
Okay, let's pull all of this together now into a simple, actionable framework that you can use to make a confident decision, not just for new hires, but for every single role in your company. Think of this table as your ultimate decision-making cheat sheet. For any role you're thinking about, just run it through these columns. Are you optimizing for low cost and high flexibility, or are you optimizing for total control and building your culture? When you look at it this way, the right answer for that role becomes pretty obvious. You know, the key here isn't just about the people you're going to hire tomorrow. It's about your current team, too. Use this framework to take a hard look at your existing roles. Most successful companies use a smart mix of both contractors and employees. The goal isn't to pick one or the other. It's to classify each person correctly from day one. That's how you build a foundation that's not just built to scale, but built to last.